Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Laughing to the Void podcast with your host, Colin. That's me. The same one as last time. It's 10 a.m. I just finished a bag of caramel M&Ms. I'll place those there for you to observe. I'm feeling good this morning. So, yeah, let's get into it. So, during Christmas, my family and I were having a discussion regarding the royal family and all the drama surrounding them recently. And we were talking about how the grandparents and stuff were racist because they were like, oh, what color is the baby going to be? Which there are multiple ways you could look at it. Is it racist? Probably yes. Were they just like inquiring? Maybe. But that kind of led me down a path of all of those people are inbred, so maybe it's good that they have some diversity in their blood, finally. So that basically led me to the conclusions that you should have children with other races, so you're not as inbred as you were before. So I guess if you're to put a diversity and inclusion message on this podcast, it would be to have kids with other races because you're probably inbred, just like the British family is. Have you seen King Charles sausage fingers? Go look it up. Could feed a family of 5. Have you heard of the show Too Hot to Handle? It's basically when young people are given money to not have sex with each other. Where's that been for me for the past 4 years? I'd be raking it in. Fuck getting a job, just go on that show. I could be a millionaire. I'll be on there every season. I'll be on Too Hot to Handle every season. I'm like the Jeopardy guy that kept winning, but for Too Hot to Handle, like no one can take me down. And I'll accrue millions of dollars that way and then become the next Warren Buffett somehow. I have a theory that David Dobrik actually killed his friend Jeff with the crane, but just replaced him with a Boston Dynamics robot with his Illuminati money that he got from SeatGeek. And that Boston Dynamics robot's just hosting a podcast and living its life now in Jeff's place. Me and David Dobrik are from the same hood, so maybe someday I can get like him where I can hit up Boston Dynamics and be like, I need another one. Here's the skin model. I'm sure David Dobrik just has all of his friends like 3D scanned once they enter his friend group just in case that happens so Boston Dynamics can put together like an exact replica. Like all of his friends have to go into like a 3D scanner completely naked, arms out, hitting the T-pose. So once they're killed in one of his stunts that they can be replaced easily. So on the subject of going back to school, my friend and I were wondering the other day if, like the really rich students, if they can afford to have someone play Subway Surfer in front of them while they're in class so they can pay attention. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically on TikTok, the platform, there's a video on top of the screen, and then there's like Subway Surfer underneath, and people claim to focus better when there's a distraction. So my idea is that some rich individual would just have a person come into their class with them and play Subway Surfer in front of them so they can pay attention in class. It's basically like a assistant dog or disability dog, but just some guy that is really good at jumping on trains. So it's the NFL playoffs right now, and I have a little commentary on one of the players. So Rob Gronkowski, one of the greatest tight ends to play in the NFL, basically he does these commercials for like some military insurance company, and basically the joke is that he's dumb and he doesn't know that he can't get it because he or his family members have not been in the military. And it's basically like a corporation making fun of this guy having CTE. But a little thing I had written down is, Gronk didn't fail high school because he's dumb. It's because his tests were always soaked from the drool coming out of his mouth. And what I'm trying to say here is that he was so dumb that his mouth was hanging open all the time, and there was drool coming from his mouth and soaking his test papers so he couldn't write on them. All right, now on to everyone's favorite segment, the Would You Rather segment. So I believe I have 4 written today. So would you rather have one of your ankles broken every year on January 2nd? It's not January 1st, so you can celebrate the new year. The method is a broken fibula by a 16-ounce anvil black rubber head mallet bought fresh from Home Depot in the morning, and it's wielded by a male arborist, which is like a lumberjack, from Rhode Island. And every year it's like a random guy that's selected. It's not the same one. So we're going to call him the lumberjack. The lumberjack hits you in the fibula until the bone breaks. In the case that the mallet snaps before the bone breaks, the lumberjack must use the broken pieces of the hammer to break your ankle. So like either the head of the mallet or like the broken handle. So the stopping point is when the fibula is broken, but if there's collateral damage to the other bones or tendons, you must continue until the fibula breaks. So say the tibia breaks, but not the fibula, he has to keep swinging on you until the fibula is broken. And the lumberjack watches a skeletal anatomy YouTube video before on where the fibula is so he knows where to swing. And let's assume it's a semi-decent one, like 15 minutes long. There's a decent amount of detail explaining where the fibula might be. As well as that, there is a doctor on duty to check whether the fibula is broken after each swing, and assume the doctor can tell with 100% accuracy. The doctor cannot help or fix you, and each year you pick what ankle you want it done to, but it's suggested that you alternate by year. So this year you want to do left, next right, next left. And the healing time for broken fibula is 6 weeks to 3 months, but will slowly increase with age and scar tissue development. So I'm guessing after like the second break, you're going to have some issues healing, so it's probably going to take longer than 3 months. And this is done in the middle of an open field, and your car is half a mile away after the break, so you have to walk or crawl half a mile to the car. And you cannot use a ride service or bicycle to get to your car, and this must be completed under your own power. So basically you just have to walk or run, jog, get to the car under your own power, and drive yourself to the hospital. So all of that, or have red hair. Me personally, I think I might go with the red hair. Although I would probably get clowned for my red hair, I would not want to have a broken ankle every year, as that would be kind of a pain in the ass just getting around. I guess if there's a positive to draw, you would get used to it after like the second time. And just like the recovery process, you'd be more familiar with the recovery process. So it might be a bit easier. Let's just put it that way. So for me, I'm going to say red hair. All right, now for the second would you rather. Would you rather only eat raw eggs in Mountain Dew for 1 month? You cannot consume any other food or liquid. If it rains, you cannot open your mouth when you go outside. You must drink a 2 liter of Mountain Dew per day, and only 2 liters, no more, no less. 2 liters only. The flavor is decided by rolling a 4-sided die, so a tetrahedron shape, each day. So if it lands on 1, you get a regular Mountain Dew. If it lands on 2, you get a Code Red. If it lands on 3, you get Live Wire. And 4 is Baja Blast. And the dice is not completely fair. There is a probability distribution, and it is as follows. So 50% chance it'll go to regular, 20% probability that it'll go to Code Red, 20% it'll go to Live Wire, and 10% Baja Blast. That's your drink for the day. And the number of eggs that you eat in that day is decided by rolling 2 fair 6-sided die. So there's no special distribution for that. It's just regular die. And in the case that you roll a 12, you're given the choice of eating a plain breaded chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A for that day. The egg brand is Oliver's Organic, which is based out of Frankfort, New York. You must eat them by cracking them and putting them in a 6x4 Pyrex baking dish and tipping it into your mouth and swallowing. No chewing allowed. You have to just drink it straight. You can space out your meals any way you want to, but you must finish all the eggs. If you eat the shells of the eggs as well as the inside, you are given a 1 liter Dasani water bottle to drink in addition to your 2 liter Mountain Dew. And again, you do this for 30 days and you roll the dice each day to determine your meal and drinking plan. So do all of that, or publicly urinate yourself at the DMV while renewing your license. You urinate yourself right when you walk in the door and have to complete the whole renewal process soaked with urine. So the pants that you wear are khaki bottoms. It's up to you what type. You could wear like shorts or pants, or I guess if there's another option. But the khaki shorts are recommended, and they must be in your size. They can't be too small. They can't be too baggy. And the amount of urine that you piss on yourself is a full bladder's worth, not just like some dribble you do before you leave your house. It's like I've been sitting in the car for 6 hours and refuse to stop, rather than we're about to leave, go just in case type of urination. So it's quite a bit. And you also ate asparagus the night before, and the pungent smell is hanging in the air and permeates the whole facility. So it smells like your piss as well in the DMV. And when you have to pay for your license, the reader can't read the chip, so both you and the worker get frustrated by the transaction. And you're also wearing porous, open-toed shoes that soak up the urine. So when you walk around, people will look at you while you slop through the building. It will also be late in the afternoon, around 4 p.m. when you go in. So the workers are tired and pretty impatient by the time you get to them. And there will be about 70 people in the DMV, so that's quite a few people that will be judging you. It'll be packed and tensions will be high, to say the least. And there are at a minimum of 2 crying children at all time in the facility. So eat the eggs or piss yourself at the DMV. Last fall, I was trying to figure out a way to make my schedule more efficient in the morning, just like getting out of bed, eating breakfast, and going to the gym and stuff. Because I just want to cut down time where I'm just doing stuff that I have to, and I want to increase the time where doing stuff I want to do. And one of the things that I tried was eating raw eggs. I stopped because I think I threw up about 3 eggs one morning after drinking them, and that was kind of enough for me. The taste isn't necessarily bad. It's more of like you're swallowing like a breast implant, because it's kind of like a sack. It's not like liquid. So it's more that like it just gets stuck in the back of your throat and like congeals. On the other hand, I hate going to the DMV. I haven't pissed myself in a while, so that would be a new experience, somewhat new. A revival experience, if you will. But I think I wouldn't want to inconvenience all the people that were working there. And I kind of do like Mountain Dew. And while it would be gross to drink a 2 liter of it every day, I think I'd probably just go with that. I think what I might do is just like wash the eggs down with the Mountain Dew so like the eggs don't get stuck in my throat when I swallow them. All right, now for the third would you rather. Would you rather participate in a bull riding event as a rider, given you must attempt to stay on the bull for 8 seconds? You ride Skippy the bull that is currently competing in the PBR from Fort Worth, Texas. Skippy is trained by the Janes Gang Ranch of Skippy and Linda Johnson. And suppose you are wearing a bull riding genuine leather rodeo western chaps by Hillison, a Warrior bull riding helmet, and a 1225 Phoenix Pro Max 1000 adult protective vest. And you're completely nude beside that, but you get your choice of some gym shorts that go under the chaps. For shoes, you wear the Nike React Hyperdunk 2017 Flyknit Off-Whites. And if you stay on for the 8 seconds, you get to keep the shoes. And the bull is given a full meal the day before, so it has maximum energy for the competition. This takes place at a packed SoFi Stadium in LA, so about 70,000 people are watching. and none of them cheer for you as you're in the midst of a cheating scandal involved with the PBR organization. So the crowd and bull will be very riled up for you to lose. And just for context, a riding bull weighs about 1,500 pounds, and the bull is put through a rigorous strength training program for a year before and is given copious amounts of tren to put on muscle. Would you rather do that or be stuck in a glass box in Times Square with no food or water, kind of like David Blaine, and the only object in the glass box is a button, and you're given 60 days to stay in the tank, and you can reduce your time by 12 hours by pressing the button, but every time you do, the 5,000 people that are closest to you immediately die. And when I say closest to you, I mean like distance. So if you're in Times Square, you press the button, the 5,000 people that are closest to you will drop dead right there. You have a choice once every 10 days to earn a piece of clothing or food through minigames. If you win a minigame, you get the choice of a random clothing item chosen from the nearest Goodwill or half a wheel of cheese that has just expired. And you're given the opportunity to win a mini Dasani bottle every other day through these minigames. The minigames range from speed math to crosswords to trivia, and all under strict time restraints. And the game will be chosen by the public every morning by online vote from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. Eastern. The games are very difficult. The average man would have about a 30% chance of winning each of them, so keep that in mind. And this starts February 28th and ends on April 29th. So it's still pretty cold in New York at the time. Not unbearable like it is in the earlier months or the deeper winter months. But you also do get to see the seasons change, which I guess is a plus. And if you complete the challenge, there's a 15-minute short film made about it on YouTube and no other outside media coverage surrounding it. So Bull Rider or David Blaine? What I think I might do is try to save up the cheese that I win and eat that consistently throughout the days. Basically, like in the beginning, I'll have maximum brain function, so I'll win as much cheese as I can and space it out for the rest of the time. I wouldn't really want to use the button because that'd be I wouldn't want to see a bunch of people just drop dead around me. I feel like people would get pretty pissed if I did that to them. Well, I guess they wouldn't. The tangential people in their lives. I am a bit fearful of riding a bull, though, because I've seen a lot of videos on YouTube. I've gone through rabbit holes where people just get stepped on and shatter their leg because it's a literal cow stepping on you. And I feel like just by my luck, it would step on my chest, so I would die. Actually, it's kind of a win-win in that scenario, but I feel like that's not the way I want to die. It would be pretty cool to get the off-white Hyperdunks, though. Those are pretty sick and kind of an iconic shoe. I think I'd rather have the Hyperdunks than have a 15-minute documentary on YouTube that gets a million views. Actually, let's roll this back. If I had the documentary made about me on YouTube, I could probably launch a better social media platform or make more money off social media or make money off social media. And I'd probably be able to buy the Hyperdunks. So I think I might go with the 60 days in the glass box, David Blaine style. Those Hyperdunks are going to be mine. All right, the final would you rather for this episode. Would you rather compete in a boxing match with the Boston Dynamics robot named Atlas, given that you and the engineers are given 2 calendar years to train and program the robot? You train 6 days a week with Floyd Mayweather Sr. for those 2 years, and you're his sole pupil, so you get his full attention. The gym you go to is the Mayweather Boxing Club in Vegas, and you are provided a 400 square foot apartment and a $1,000 monthly stipend. You must cook for yourself. In the fight, you use 8-ounce gloves, but for practice, you use 16-ounce gloves. Boston Dynamics has its lead engineer control the Atlas for the fight. And before that, he's sent to boxing classes for 8 months to learn combinations and technique and that sort of thing. So he'll know how to control the robot to box, maybe not as well as you. After 2 years with Floyd Mayweather, he uses a PS3 controller to control the robot in the fight. If you win, you get $2 million, one of which will go to your training team. If it's a draw, you get 1 mil, and the team gets 500K. And if you lose, you win 500K, but only 100K goes to you, 400 goes to your team. And the fight takes place at the MGM Grand, so about 17,000 spectators. You can take any steroids you want to prepare, as you will be fighting a metal object. Morgan Freeman is in your corner to say inspiring quotes to you before and after the rounds. And the fight will be 12 2-minute rounds. So all of that, or jump off a flight of stairs once a week for 2 months. So say the staircase is 10 feet tall and carpeted hardwood, the olefin texture, which is similar to like elementary school carpets or carpets you typically see in schools. The staircase is 10 by 10 with 14 steps, so each is about 8 inches tall and 8 inches long. You wear Nike Air Max Scorpions to break your fall. You wear Gym Reaper 7mm knee sleeves that are fitted to you on your knees to try to prevent you from breaking your knees. You're allowed 3 months to prepare specifically for this task of jumping off the stairs. And for each jump, you have to drive yourself to the hospital if necessary. And you do the jumps in a randomly selected apartment complex in your area. So the residents start to notice the pattern and then try to stop you after a while. But you have to get the jump done. This happens at 10 p.m. every Monday until completion. Your medical bills are paid for by the Rothschilds, and they throw in a stem cell treatment for 5 years after. And you also get to attend one of their eyes wide shut parties once this is over. I think just from a physical standpoint, I would pick jumping off the stairs because I don't want to get brain damage from boxing. And while you probably would get brain damage because you'll definitely trip and not make the jump at some point, you would get stem cell treatment, which I think is probably more valuable than the money you would win in any scenario from the boxing. Realistically, you're not going to win the boxing against the Atlas robot, and you're probably not going to draw either. I think stem cell treatment for 5 years is probably more valuable than $1,000. I could be completely wrong on that. I don't know. I'm not a doctor once again. It would be fun to learn how to box, and I would like the competition, doing something that's kind of unprecedented. But at the same time, I don't want to get my ass beat by a robot. And jumping off a flight of stairs, I kind of did that halfway when I was younger a bunch of times. So although my bones are kind of broken down now that I'm in my 20s, I think that I'd still be able to do that with relative ease. So I think I'm going to go with jumping off the stairs. And now the final segment of the episode, the TikTok of the week. So here is the first one.
This really pissed me off. So look at this kid doing his rep. He almost has it, and then he loses it, right? But what's he going to do? He's going to retry the rep. He even lost his headphones, but he's a real G, so he's going to retry it. And look, just as he goes to try right there, the guy runs up and touches the bar for no reason. He did not need a spot. This guy is a total douche for touching the bar. Absolutely unacceptable. You don't just run up and touch someone's bar at the gym for no.
I kind of agree with that. I think he would have gotten that up if the guy hadn't touched it. I think part of developing as an athlete or someone that lifts is pushing through when it's really difficult. And I don't think that kid was given the opportunity to push through the pain, which will ultimately hurt him in the long run. Good on him for not having a spotter. You'll get it next time, buddy. I'm sure of it. I think that's about it for this week. I appreciate you guys watching. I have a new video that I have shot. I just have to edit it. So it'll be out in the next couple weeks. Besides that, I have another video that I'm writing as well in the background. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked, make sure to drop a like. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like. And if you really liked it, then you should subscribe because this podcast goes up every 2 weeks. All right, I'll see you guys later. Peace.
really excellent job.